E aloha kakahiaka, aloha and good morning to you. It's Ka'iulani with another episode of Our Rights to Self-Determination. You like my pua? This one is not fake. I actually grew this up here. This is my first plumeria blooming, and I'm so excited because everyone tells me you cannot grow plumeria in volcanoes, so anyway, hope you're having a great day. Thanks for joining me this morning. I think this is the 8th episode of Our Rights to Self-Determination. And I gotta tell you, the more I get into this book, it's like a combination of, it's like a wild roller coaster ride because my stomach starts getting really excited and then I start getting mad and then I want the ride to end, but then I want to know more. It's like reawakening me, all the stuff that I've known all these years. And that's why I'm calling this book a primer for Hawaiians who don't know anything and Hawaiians who know everything. All of us should have this book. It should be being taught at Kamehameha schools, in the immersion schools, and at UH. And I just don't know why, they're not teaching this book. It's an amazing book. I think that from teenage years on, anyone could understand this book. So we've been going through it, and I just want to say mahalo again for liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. Where's Your Aloha? That's right. Where's Your Aloha? And I've been getting some comments, about what we've been reading here. And I just want to say this because I've been talking about the pageantry and, how Hawaiians are approaching our sovereignty movement today is just so puzzling to me. I saw people in England glorifying the English, the crown over there. Because why? We had a treaty with them. We had a good relationship? No. They stood by and watched the United States take over our country. And I'll say England and everyone who had a treaty with Hawaii stood by and allowed us to be stolen, raped, murdered, confiscated, stolen. So I really don't see the point of going over there to, dance hula for the Queen of England when she never gave a rat's ass for Hawaiians. What has she done for Hawaiians today? That's what I want to know. And then I'm getting another response is like, oh, Keakua's going to take care of it. And our queen prayed to Keakua. Well, guess what? She's dead. And none of her prayers have been answered. And the prayers aren't being answered. So it's this really like imbalanced kind of thinking that today's sovereignty movement has. You've got all the academias getting all the money. They're making big money. But it's almost like they're educating us to assimilate us. It's almost as if, you go to UH and you learn how to be a cooperative Hawaiian there, and you learn how to lose the battles, and you learn how to not be a steward of what we've got going on here. And then you've got all these guys that have come out of nowhere and they're getting money. We don't know if they're even Hawaiian or not. And today's Hawaiian, we're still screwed. So what's the point? What's the point of all these people with their videos and being in front of the camera and all the stuff they're doing? We have it worse than ever. So that's just what I want to say. And it's not just my opinion. I've been around for a long time. I've watched so many leaders come and go. I wish they all would read this book. Keanu Sai, I'm going to name you guys. Henry Noah, Dane, all of you purporting to be leaders. Oana Salazar, Princess. Read this book. Just check it out. It brings you back to the point of relativity. All of these guys that are leading us right now, Andre Perez, all you guys, read this book. It's a huge help for us. Anyway. I love all of you guys. You know that. I just want you to read this book because the last Keanu Sai meeting I was at, the uncle stood up and he goes, "What do we do right now?" That's what everyone wants to know. What do we do right now? And who's answering that question? Individual battles are being fought. We're losing them all. And there's no forward movement towards resisting being occupied and deoccupation. So, I'm sure don't come at me. You can if you want to at your own risk, because I back my shit up, okay? I back my shit up. So let's get into this chapter today. We left off after the Akaka Bill. Today's chapter is the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights versus Hawaiian rights, okay? Even the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights, albeit confused in its analysis, declined when asked to support the Akaka Bill. However, the commission reversed itself in 2018, even though no one was pushing the bill, in an effort to protect federal funding for Native Hawaiian education and healthcare. But a dissenting vote on the commission's original rejection of the bill is worthy of review. In it, University of San Diego law professor Gail Harriet articulates the same backwards argument that has swirled around the Hawaiian question since the U.S. took control. Harriet reasons that Hawaiians did not have a tribal government before the overthrow, but were an extremely impressive cosmopolitan, multiracial, multi-ethnic society, concluding that the magic wand of so-called statehood made Hawaiians members of the greatest nation on earth. Barf. After weaponizing the absence of race as a determination for citizenship in the Hawaiian Kingdom, she ignores the fraudulence of the 1959 plebiscite vote. American lawyers like Harriet happily disregard that vote's illegitimacy, whereas an average Hawaiian with a rudimentary knowledge of history and marginal awareness of their lot in life can name at least one reason why the admittance of Hawaii into the Union was an all-out assault on Hawaiian rights. The most obvious, there are only two of the four legally required options on the ballot: remain a territory or become a U.S. state. The other choices, independence and free association, were excluded. That merits repetition. The statehood vote was fraudulent. Yeah, Donald Trump. Your vote wasn't fake. Your election wasn't fake. But the election to make Hawaii a state, fake. The U.S. claimed Hawaii as a territory rather than a legally occupied nation state that they had been destroying all day, every day since 1893. And in 1946, Hawaii was included on the United Nations list of non-self-governing territories to be decolonized. It was the job of the controlling state, the U.S., to conduct a fair plebiscite to allow the Hawaiian people to choose their own form of government. Other territories had referendums that offered independence from their colonizers. Yet Hawaiians with our actual history of being a nation state were prohibited from voting for reinstatement or recognition of that status. Additionally, when the legally and morally flawed statehood plebiscite took place, Hawaiians were greatly outnumbered by the American settler and military population who, unsurprisingly, voted to make Hawaii a state. What's significant about the circularity of Harriet's position, though, is how the forked tongue of American legal speak epitomizes the logic of both white supremacy and rape. Echoing what the United States has asserted nonstop in order to conceal its crime, Harriet denies that there was ever a crime. And if there was no crime, there is no victim. If the U.S. continues to get away with the denial and theft of Hawaiian nationhood, then the rape and pillage of Hawaii, abundantly evident in the ongoing dispossession of Hawaiians and the exploitation and decimation of our land, culture, and identity, isn't a crime. And if there is no crime, then no one's rights are being violated. Ergo, Hawaiians have no rights. It is the ultimate act of legal and political gaslighting. We, the Hawaiian people, have been litigated and legislated into a racialized classification by what the American government decided being Hawaiian means, all completely against our will. When we speak out and oppose the false justification, when we speak out and oppose the false justification for the U.S. takeover and occupation, we are scolded, mocked, patronized, and told we are better off. Sometimes even our own people, unaware or uncaring of their own history, descend with humiliating words about our lack of unity, as if the material impacts of forced Americanization are imaginary. And how many times have Hawaiians heard the claim that if the U.S. hadn't taken over, we would all be speaking Japanese, as if doubling down on American racism makes perfect sense. In the American version of what it did to us, the rape and pillage of Hawaii was holy intervention to save us and our homeland from being raped by Japan. According to the actual rapist, he did the victim a favor. Doesn't matter that Japan never expressed any intention of perpetrating such a crime. And anyhow, shucks, come on. After being raped by the greatest nation on earth, Hawaiians aren't victims. We're members of its greatness. Like the apology resolution before it, the Akaka bill, and apparently lawyers for and against it, intentionally ignore the substantive question of actual Hawaiian rights. Instead, it reiterates the well-trodden lie that Hawaii is part of the United States, even though Hawaiians consistently go to great lengths to truthfully and legally invalidate that claim, affirm our rights, and dispute Hawaiian efforts to further erase and dispossess us. Okay. When the Akaka Bill campaign was in motion, there were two other equally important matters Hawaiians were protesting against. One is the desecration of our sacred sites and burial grounds, a matter that has taken on larger implications and become central to Hawaiian sovereignty. The other was the post-9/11 military expansion, which turned real estate into platinum and caused thousands more Hawaiians to become homeless. Why? Because when the military increased the number of personnel stationed here as part of their war on terror, they failed to provide housing and chose instead to subsidize off-base rentals. And the landlords of our limited housing market, much of it owned by real estate speculators who live in California and beyond, jacked up the monthly rates to make a killing off the bloated military budget. Over the course of a year, a small 2-bedroom apartment in the working class neighborhood and suburb of Honolulu went from costing $750 a month to $1,500 and now is in the upper 2000s. So as the Akaka bill was being pushed, the military was expanding its operations. And don't forget, the main goal of the Akaka bill was to extinguish the Hawaiian people's title to the Hawaiian Kingdom's national lands. But in order to accomplish that, the federal government must assign and legitimize a group of Hawaiians willing to foreclose on our rights. The Hawaiian elites I'm talking about, that keep playing whack-a-mole and potato, hot potato. And meanwhile, you and me, all us, sucking the bottom over here, trying to make it every day, while these elites are playing with our money and doing nothing for the common man. The last big push to federalize Hawaiians was in the summer of 2014, when the Department of Interior, the DOI, out of the blue, announced it would hold a series of public hearings. Without any prompting or invitation from the Hawaiian people, the feds had decided to take another approach to establishing a large capital and Native Hawaiian federal entity. And given the timing, Hawaiians easily connected one dot to another. Next up, on page 45, annexation or occupation. The book is called Our Rights to Self-Determination, a Hawaiian Manifesto by Ann Keala Kelly. You can get it by going to kuleanaworks.com. Everyone should have this book. And then everyone should be talking about it. Everyone should be doing what I'm doing, making little videos, sharing it within your groups. Turn the lights on, Kanaka, come in from the cold. Let's get out of the cloud of confusion that taking a licking from so many battles has caused us to have. Let's come in out of the cold. Let's get back to a point of relativity. I'll see you next time. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and keep sharing. Much aloha to you.